Myra's in now with sports. Where do we begin?
Let's start with a little golf today, shall we? Good day for golf, AJ. It's not always glamorous grinding it out week after week on the Canadian Pro Golf Tour, but Victoria's Corey Renfrew is certainly making it look easy. In just 5 tournaments, the newly turned pro has won an event, came in second, that was here at the TC Coast Capital Savings Open, and ranks second on the money list. That placing earned him an exemption to next week's RBC Canadian Open at the Hamilton Golf and Country Club. Renfrew is part of a field which includes the likes of John Daly, Stuart Appleby, Ernie Els, and Jim Furyk. Gudmund Lindberg. He's a well-known name in BC golf circles. The 4-time defending senior provincial champion is looking to complete the Drive for 5 this week at the Nanaimo Golf Club. But he will have an all-star cast to contend with. 144 golfers are competing in the 3-day tourney, with cuts coming after tomorrow's round. A top 3 finish earns these men a trip to the Nationals at the end of August.
Not only the best in our province, but the best in Canada, and this course is in absolutely great shape. I can see that these guys are going to love it. From the people that I've spoke to have just come off the early morning tee times, they've been raving about it.
Leading off from Marine Drive Golf Club, Doug Roxborough.
Yes, Doug is a man who's already been inducted into the Canadian Golf Hall of Fame. Doug Roxborough is competing in his first ever BC Seniors Championship and is virtually the only amateur title that he has yet to capture. Doug has won the Canadian Championship 4 times and the BC Amateur Championship a record 13 times. Still, he doesn't consider himself the runaway favorite at this event.
Well, we'll just see what happens. I know Sandy Harper's has to be the odds-on favorite for sure. I mean, Sandy's home course, he just is a very underrated player. He's won at every level he's played, and he's a great player. So I look to Sandy to be the favorite here. Doug's been with Golf Canada. He just recently left there in his position, and he's also had a great tie with British Columbia Golf over the years. And he used to work in our office. And Doug's an absolute gentleman and an excellent player. So it's great to see him out here and competing. And we wish him the best. And I know there's 141 other players who'd love to get the championship as well.
Well, rugby enthusiasts got their fill at Centennial Stadium this weekend at the 2nd annual Victoria International Rugby Sevens Tournament. Yeah, fun field, sevens aside for 5-minute halves. Sevens rugby is not for the couch potatoes out there. Garrett Connolly goes Superman style over the goal line for this try in the senior men's action. The tournament saw the best of the best in U14s, all the way to the senior men's and women's. It was a strong showing from our BC squads as the BC Gold avenged last year's loss to Ontario in the U18 boys final. On the women's side, the Vancouver Island Tide claimed the U17 crown, while the Canadian Maple Leafs won the senior men's title with a convincing win over Team BC. As Sevens grows by leaps and bounds, so too does this tournament.
The national team is stationed here, and we're trying to create a tournament so that they can start playing in front of home fans. We're trying to build up this tournament into an international event. So, some of the top players in the world who's played in a lot of different tournaments, they're really enjoying being in Victoria, and they love the city, and the facility's in excellent shape today. So that made the tournament a lot better.
Well, if you wondered how Lakers fans feel about Steve Nash joining their team, this video is a pretty good indication taken on a cell phone by Nash, the man himself. These young men were cruising down an LA freeway and spot Nash in a cab beside them. They lose it. The driver looks for a high five while a passenger in the back seat passes Nash a Keystone Lime beer. Nash accepts the beer before turning the camera on himself.
It's been pretty good so far.
And he says it's pretty good fans so far. So what do you think of that? Not that we're condoning drinking and driving in LA or anywhere for that matter.
We are not. Nice to see he's not in a stretch limo. Steve Nash still
Yellow
traveling
cab.
Like the common man in the yellow cab, still drinking beer.
Being just
Victoria boy.
Total Victoria boy. We have another Victoria boy who had a great weekend. Well, not a Victoria boy, but a Victoria man. Remember last week we brought our viewers the story about Stu Montgomery, the Parks and Recreation man who's been taking care of Royal Athletic Park for 37 years. Well, this weekend he made it to the big times, went to the big leagues, and he went to the Seattle Mariners game where he was part of the Mariners crew. There he is. Now, apparently they didn't dance on this day, so Stu didn't have to worry about his dancing shoes. I'm not quite sure what he's doing. He said he was going to be on the rake, but apparently they gave him the hose for a little while, and he broke a sweat, but never got to meet any of the Mariners. But I heard that he was lingering around Josh Hamilton for a little while, and I love that picture there, giving the old wave on his way out the to
After
the dugout.
37 years, that's the least you deserve.
Isn't that great? What a
Wow.
great send-off. So
Good for him.
You
Good
bet.
good for whoever made that happen. Whoever,
His boss Ken made that happen at the city. So
thank you, Ken.
thanks, Ken.
Class.
And thanks for the pictures, Ken.
All right. Thanks, Myra.
You're welcome.